welcome back to StabilityWOD. Last couple days we talked about the abdominals and becoming very intentional about how to contract the pelvic floor and the transverse abdominis at a very low level. This is about awareness, activation, getting things turned back on. Once you get to the point where you can do that pretty consistently, then it's time to integrate it into your sports. Had a great question from a viewer today about how to teach people how to breathe in different circumstances, under heavy load, while running, while swimming, day-to-day activities, and I want to explore that in the next couple days. So today, join me in the gym with my friend Coach Dave, who's a phenomenal coach here at CrossFit Roots. We're going to explore some common CrossFit movements, but know that a lot of these breathing techniques, while they're context dependent, have a lot of the same rules. So the same breathing technique that might work for a wall ball or a kettlebell swing is the same technique that might work for getting your carry-on into the overhead compartment in the airplane. Let's meet Dave out in the gym and we'll get started. So this is my friend Dave, one of the coaches here at CrossFit Roots.
How's it going, guys?
We're going to talk about some common CrossFit movements here in the gym, and I'm going to talk Dave through the breathing pattern that I like to see during these movements. Know that depending on how heavy the movement is, you may be breathing more and maintaining less tension. So if the wall ball is light, you may not need a lot of breath holding at the bottom of the squat. If the kettlebell swing is relatively light, you may not need a lot of breath holding at the bottom of the kettlebell swing. We'll talk through that, and we grade the tension in the abdominals, that drawing in feeling up, depending on the weight. I like to use a 0 to 10 scale, 0 being sleeping, 10 being a maximum deadlift. So I'll talk about it in the context of 0 to 10, about how much abdominal tension I'd like to see him producing. Let's get going. So Dave has a strategy when he throws the wall ball of tensing his abs right when he catches the ball as he's heading down toward the bottom of his squat. He holds his breath at the bottom of the squat until he throws it again. With this light ball, and this is a 10-pound ball, he doesn't need to hold his breath quite as much, and he doesn't need to do it quite as early. But he has very little rib flare, and he's maintaining a very drawn-in abdominal layer. He's been well trained. He's taught this a million times. He knows how to do it. With a 20-pound ball, he tells me he catches it. He tenses his abs when he catches it a little bit higher, a little bit sooner, and he maintains that tension through his abs through the bottom of the squat until he comes up to throw it again. All of his breathing is happening when the ball is up in the air. Go for it. So with a kettlebell swing, because the squat's not as deep, there's almost less of a breath hold. This is a 20-kilo kettlebell, pretty light for Dave. He's maintaining nice, drawn-in ab tension. He's keeping his ribs from flaring at the top. But he's holding his breath just for a minute at the bottom, at the catch, where the kettlebell hits the low point. Otherwise, the bell's weightless. There's not a lot of need for stability beyond a base level. When he goes to a 32-kilo kettlebell, it's much heavier. He's going to engage his abs and get that little bit of breath hold just a split second sooner, doing most of his breathing when the kettlebell's up over his head, weightless. Every time he hits the bottom, he'll do a little breath hold, explode, release. Go for it. So Dave said that his ab tension on the wall balls was about a 4 to a 6 out of 10, depending on the weight. He said it felt similar on the kettlebells, and while he does that somewhat unconsciously because he's very well trained, once he gets on the GHD, he says he has a more conscious focus on his ab tension. As he goes back, you want to stop Dave at the point where you start to engage. As he goes back, he starts to engage about there, and then he continues to breath hold, maintain that really conscious engagement of drawing in until he throws his hands, straightens his legs, and comes back up. He breathes mostly at the top. The rest of the time, he's very consciously engaging his abs, maintaining a drawn-in tension rather than having his abs bulge out. Dave is so well trained, he couldn't even do it incorrectly. So I'm going to do 3 reps with my abs bulged out, my low back's hyperextended. I'm completely unstable. I want my athletes to be drawn in and stable, not bulged out and unstable. See the difference? I'm going to get stable, and then I'm going to move just through my hips. My low back never hyperextends. It stays neutral, rigid the whole time. So much more healthy for my back. That's just a little sampling of some common CrossFit movements where I see people struggle to maintain abdominal tension. Just a quick review, Pelvic floor sets the foundation. Transverse abdominis is what helps us create that sense of drawing in the wall of the can, as it were. And then we use our bigger muscles to reinforce that, but there continues to be a sense of drawing in and tension. The 0 to 10 scale refers to how much overall tension you have in the whole system. That doesn't take away anything from the deep layer. It just means how much do you bring on the superficial layer to reinforce it as you're moving heavy. You can apply those skills to just about any type of lifting. Tomorrow, I'm going to bring in some heavy lifting, and we're going to talk about what happens when you take that breath hold, ab tension up to a 10 out of 10, and how that looks. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please subscribe, click the button below, share with your friends. I really appreciate comments and questions. I'm really enjoying interacting with you, and I'm going to use a lot of your ideas in future videos. So thanks for being part of the community. See you tomorrow.